Students, you are not listening to me, so I have created another very short video for you because your grades on graphing still are not where they should be. So what I'm going to show you is exactly what I expect to see on a graphing problem in order to get full credit. If you do not show all of these steps, you will not get full credit on graphing problems. There are still too many mistakes being made by skipping steps. So here is your equation. Some things that you need to pay attention to. If you do not see parentheses here, then you cannot assume that this 2 is a phase shift. Because there are no parentheses, this 2 is a vertical shift. A lot of you kept insisting there was a phase shift when, in fact, there was not. So what I need to see, you must list what the amplitude is. And in this case, the amplitude is -3. You must list what the period is. It's 2 pi over b. In this case, b is 2 pi, so the period is 1. You must list what the vertical shift is. The vertical shift is 2. If this had been a -2, you would have written negative. In this case, it's +2, so you can just leave it as 2. If there were a phase shift, you would need to write that. In this case, there is no phase shift. You don't have to write no phase shift. Once you're done with this, I need to see your table because that tells me that you understand what's happening in this problem. So the first thing that you list out is the length of your period. So, starts at 0, ends at 1. These are your x coordinates. Halfway through is a half. Halfway through that is a fourth. And if you're not really sure what goes in between a half and a fourth, think about adding 1/2 plus 1/4 and you get 3/4. These are the numbers that go on the x-axis. After that, you need to write out the pattern for whatever your trig function is. In this case, it's sine. What is the pattern for sine? 0, 1, 0, -1, 0. The next thing you'll do, exactly in the order listed. What is the amplitude? The amplitude is -3. So now you multiply this line right here by -3. 0 times -3 is 0. 1 times -3, 0 times -3, -1 times -3, 0 times -3. The last thing you'll do is you will add or subtract your vertical shift. So this line here is where you'll perform that calculation. 0 plus 2 is 2. -3 plus 2 is -1. 0 plus 2 is 2. +3 plus 2 is 5. 0 plus 2 is 2. So what I've got are my x values and my y values for one complete period of this graph. So when I list them out, I will make this 1/4, 1/2, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. If I go backwards, that's not correct. And it's okay to make those mistakes, just to make sure that you catch them. So if this is a half, that's 1, that's 3/2, that's 2. Here we've got -1/2, And back here we've got, my pen won't go all the way over there. You've got -1. Okay. So x is 0, y is 2. X is 1/4, y is -1. So here's 1/4, y is -1 here. X is 1/2, y is 2. X is 3/4, y is 5. X is 1, y is 2. So there's one complete period of the graph. From here, I just repeat the pattern. And then I can also repeat it going backwards. If I notice here is traveling downwards, so if I go backwards, I'm going to have to travel up. So there's 5 and 2 and -1. And then I connect my points. Is it perfect? No, it is not perfect. But you can see that I knew what was happening. I knew what all the x values should be. I knew what all of the y values should be. I plotted points. If there were to be a phase shift on something like this, the thing that would change would be these x coordinates. If there was a phase shift of, I don't know, 1/2 going to the right, that would be in this direction. What would happen is that 0 would then become 1/2. The 1/4, if you add a half to it, we get 3/4. 1/2 plus a half is 1. 3/4 plus a half, that's like 3/4 plus 2/4, that's 5/2. So when there's a phase shift involved, the x values here are what will change. That's where I usually like to see the second graph, because then you show, oh, I've moved this point over to here, and I've moved this point over to here. And that's how phase shifts get shown on a graph. You don't have to show this, then a vertical shift. That's not necessary. What you need to show is the original here with a phase shift if that's necessary. I hope that helps explain things.